People of the planet Earth, can you hear me? I certainly hope so. Welcome to the Kind of Funny Gamescast pre-show. I'm not your host, Jared. I'm pseudo-host. I'm a host, but I'm not the host. I'm not your host. I am just one host. The host himself, the man with the plan. Greg next to Greg. Greg 1, Greg 2, Greg 2, Greg 1. Cool Greg versus what Nomer, what I use for you?
Whole lot of Greg shit going on.
Whole lot of Greg shit going on. They call me Famous Greg. They call me Famous Greg.
Is that Famous Greg?
Famous Greg.
Why have I never heard this?
Because it's embarrassing and no one calls me.
I've heard Trendy Greg. I've never heard Famous Greg.
Yeah, but people think I declared myself Famous Greg when in reality Cool Greg.
Oh yeah, like you're above declaring yourself Famous Greg.
I would
Come
never
on.
do that outside of a context of a wrestling skit.
All right, there we are.
I would like to, for a moment,
as well,
clear up the fact that I gave Cool Greg the Cool Greg name, and then I immediately gave you the old Greg name, and then I tried Lame Greg. Both were vetoed by Cool Greg, showing how cool he is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I said, well, Famous Greg is what it is.
Cool Greg picks people up. You push him back down, but Cool Greg picks him up.
Sure. Yeah, is that how it works?
I got a tweet today from the Kind of Funny Wikipedia page.
Can I see the chat too?
Under the members, and for my name it says Cool Greg Gettys. And I was like, hey.
Oh my gosh, that's rad. Oh, I didn't think about checking out the Wikipedia page. I'm probably still tangential to be there. Am I there?
Yeah.
Oh, I've always wanted to be a Wikipedia on a Wikipedia page. I'm very excited about that.
They're super on top of this.
Oh wow, that's exciting. Thank you. That's very. Thank you, people of the world. Oh man.
Daily Arville TV says non-Washington Post journalist Greg Miller.
Oh, okay. What about the failing New York Times?
Rag paper.
Oh, no, yeah, I tell you. Nobody.
But there's a Greg Miller who writes for the Washington Post.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being a jerk.
And I'm Greg Miller as well.
But
I'm
Greg
not
Miller?
that Greg Miller.
No, you're famous Greg Miller.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that it's famous. I'd heard trendy, but I hadn't heard famous. I missed that somehow. Somebody asked, hey, Ignacio says, what's up? Sup indeed, Ignacio. I'm all right. How you doing, man? I'm very excited about this pre-show. I love these.
Yeah?
I think this might be my favorite thing we do.
Really?
Yeah, we're just sitting down.
Sit here and chill out, talk to everybody?
Talking to everybody, just like, hey, what's up, everybody? Maybe I'll feel that way, feel differently in a few minutes, but right now I like this bit.
No, impossible.
I think it's cool. Certain people will get like responses out of the chat, like Amy for one. Like when she hops in, all the chat's like Amy. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting there. Oh, what we got here? Let Jared host. Oh, they already do. Definitely, they're very kind about that.
Havoc Maker says, is Corey Barlog coming in for an interview today? Sorry. Yes, he is. After this Gamescast, he's rolling in for an interview.
Oh, man.
Has anyone briefed you on that, Kev? Awesome. I don't know anymore. Today's not a good day, so I don't know. It's not hard at all. What you're going to do is strike 2 mics, same set, and I'm just going to do it. That's going to go in next week's Gamescast. So, Kevin, bringing you up to speed just to make sure we're all on the same page. Today, Damon from Nintendo. Next week, it'll be a Gamescast we record as usual, and then insert the Corey Barlog interview into.
The one we already have?
No, the one we're going to film today.
Okay.
Then the next week, so 2 weeks from now, right? Yeah, 2 weeks from now, we'll film an episode and insert the Robbie.
I'm pretty excited about next week's Gamecast. I mean, I'm very excited about having Damon today, but next week I'm finally going to get to talk about enchanting Mahjong. I mean, I'm really excited about that.
I don't know what this is.
Oh, no. So it's become a thing on Games Daily now that I have to play crappy Switch games. Or maybe not crappy. Actually, I shouldn't say crappy at all. Space Cats with Lasers was pretty fun. But awesome. I've now been assigned Enchanting Mahjong. So, got to go off. I am absolutely invoicing you guys for these now.
To pay.
A bit.
We refuse to pay.
Because I asked Tim about that, and he's like, no, we're not paying for this.
There you go.
I was like, then why are you telling me I have to do it?
Keep sending the invoices.
I am going to keep sending the invoices. I'm actually preparing my first invoice. It's very nice. It's kind of done. I probably had to just send it
just give it to Nick.
It's a very good idea. Yeah.
Talking to you for
pretty finished. I know. Well, yeah, I really wasted a lot of work time this afternoon.
Yeah, that's what it's all
about. The office.
Rising Sun Production says this is his first ever Kind of Funny Gamescast pre-show. He's very excited. Welcome to the party. Havoc Maker asked if the Corey interview will be live. It will not. PlayStation asked me and I said no, and we've been having internet problems and I didn't want to overpromise anything today.
That makes sense. Let's see what else we got here. Havoc also said hi Havoc, what's up there? What do we got here? First ever pre-show. Oh, Greg, did you hear about Dr. Greg Miller from Northwestern University?
Not until you started bringing him up in this chat, Mr. Yasmat300.
Okay.
Don't get him started. He likes hunting all the Greg Millers down.
This guy likes to hunt Greg Millers down?
That sounds bad. In this day and age, you can't say that.
Huh?
In this day and age, you can't say that. You can't say you're hunting people.
That's a good point.
Him down.
Not hunting men for sport? Yeah?
The most dangerous game.
The most dangerous game of all. That's right. Did you read that in school?
No.
That's actually a pretty good short story if you go back to it.
Really?
It's been a long time since I've read it. But
ladies and gentlemen,
I remember
Tim
really
Gettys.
enjoying it. Oh, it's Tim Gettys, yeah.
A smattering of applause.
Can I get a piece of paper too?
Most dangerous game is pretty nifty. It's this guy, professional big game hunter, is shipwrecked on a remote island, and he finds this like eccentric Russian nobleman that lives there, who's this master hunter, and he's hunted all the game in the world.
Maybe I did read this. Yeah, keep going.
And so he hunts people on his island. He's a monster. But this guy that he's caught is also a famous professional hunter.
Oh, nice.
And
I think I
so
did
it's a
read this.
hunter hunting a hunter, and it's a kind of a it's an adventure thing though. How's it end?
Yeah.
One of the hunters wins.
A rhino that they thought they had killed years before comes back.
So, actually, it ends with a great final line. If I can quote this correctly, it was a very comfortable bed. He decided. Nice. I believe that's a paraphrase, but that's very close. It actually has a character say "on guard" like right before the end, which is pretty cool.
I like that too.
Yeah, I like when people say "on guard."
Me too.
Have you ever in your life wondered what it was like to walk around and you ever watch like old Romeo and Juliet and people just walking around with swords? What it was like if you like were hanging out in a bar or something, somebody got upset and they like just went on guard and drew a sword, and that was part of your life.
Yeah, I have it.
You ever thought about that?
I watched the Game of Thrones or whatever. And they're in a similar situation where it seems like they could just die at any time.
Yeah, at any
Jared,
freaking second.
I want you to know I've got my Leatherman on me at all points. So
I'll tell you what, Kevin.
if it ever goes down,
I'll tell you what,
ready.
Kevin. I needed you and that Leatherman bad the other day at GDC.
Sorry, man.
It's okay. It was that I went and played Dying Light Bad Blood. They gave me a press kit. Inside the press kit, the only thing I actually wanted to keep was a flashlight that was also a beacon, where it was magnetized, so you put on your hood of your car if you ever. And I was like, this is awesome. I wanted to put the batteries in and then walk around like an asshole at GDC all day with this fucking flashlight.
I'm really happy I wasn't there.
They had one that Phillips had screw on there, and I asked everyone in the press room if they had it. No. Bunch of
needed that Leatherman.
Yeah,
Gotta have that Leatherman.
I did need it.
I'm a little worried about Kevin weaponizing his Leatherman. Like I don't like that.
Kevin
idea.
can weaponize anything.
That's what I'm worried about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like whatever. He can take that fan and kill somebody with it right now.
I think there's like at least one martial art. I think it's a Korean martial art that like that's the whole idea that anything can be a weapon.
Sure.
And so you just like
kind of like anyone can cook.
Yeah, anyone can cook.
Yeah.
Anyone can cook. This is what that guy said in that movie with the rat that lived on the man's head.
Yeah, Rat Chef.
Rat Chef.
That was a good movie.
I liked Rat Chef. It was pretty good.
Haven't seen Coco yet. Did you see Coco?
Oh yeah. Coco's really good.
It seems a little too ethnic for me.
Epic? Like
no, ethnic is what I said.
Oh,
I was making a joke about the diversity.
Oh.
Everyone knows I was joking.
He's joking.
I like saying it because then I think Andy might come out and argue with me. And I like getting Andy out here, but he's so busy these days.
Coco's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you should watch
Matt
it.
from Inti Korea, he was talking about it being on their plane or whatever.
Oh, it's lovely. It's a quite a wonderful movie. The songs are beautiful. The
I just don't like animated stuff usually.
Really? Yeah. Just in general?
Almost like superhero cartoons. But like I'm rarely motivated to watch like that. Toy Story an exception.
Yeah?
Incredibles an exception.
Okay. And is that why?
And I guess Toy
exception?
Story 3. I guess I don't even know if I made it to a theater to watch it. I think I just watched it.
Okay, well you said Toy Story's Incredibles exception. Those are two other Pixar movies.
Incredibles a superhero movie. Come on.
A superb superhero.
Yeah, I'll get out and see that.
Wait,
yeah.
You said both all the Toy Stories? Which Toy Story?
I was saying I like the Toy Story movies.
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
but I'm talking about how I don't like animated films.
No, I'm aware of the conversation. I just want to make sure that all three of them made it on the list.
No,
yeah,
you're saying you don't
them.
like them or you don't seek them out?
I don't seek them out. Okay. I mean, I'm not. I watched Moana.
Yeah.
During the Christmas holiday season, like while I played Vita games, it was fun. It was good.
I liked it. Yeah.
I like The Rock a lot. I like the songs. I am Moana.
Did you see The Shape of Water yet?
I did see The Shape of Water.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I think it was. I did the problem. I did the problem where I let it go too long, so it was overrated by the time I got there.
Oh, really?
So I watched it the day after it won the Oscar. So I was like, here we fucking go.
Okay, see, I watched it late, and yeah, I had the high expectations, and then I more than really liked it. I actually kind of teared up.
Yeah. I didn't not like it. I just didn't think it was the best thing since sliced bread. I think my best picture would have gone somewhere else.
Or would yours have gone?
I liked Lady Bird a lot.
Well, Lady Bird was real good.
But you're booing it, Lady Bird?
Nah, I don't mean that.
Don't boo Lady Bird.
I'll boo whatever the hell I want.
Listen here. You don't want to be like that guy in that car that didn't like Dave Matthews and he was a big jerk.
What did you say?
Yeah, what
is that?
That was my fault.
Was it in Lady Bird? Remember?
Oh, right. Sorry.
Like,
I need to wake up.
No, it's just
I'm fighting a cold.
Dude, you've had a day.
It's been a long week.
This man's a champion. He's coming forward to bring you the entertainment that you need, want, and deserve. But not to be a booster, not to be full of it. This man's had a day. And he's here in front of you trying to entertain you.
Mr. Yasmin says, Greg, did you know about Dance Parade Festival that is funded by Greg Miller? That I did not know.
Okay.
Mr. Greg Miller.
Sorry, Kevin Coelho from kindoffunny.com. What's your question?
Thank you. I don't know if you know this, but Joester is actually home right now with the flu. So, fight it, man.
Oh, I'm fighting. No, it's just it's a congestion and a sore throat.
Okay. Have you taken anything for it?
I took Dayquil when I got up today.
Okay. Do you want something else? I can send Cool Greg you some Robitussin.
No, we don't want Robitussin.
Don't want Robitussin?
I feel how long is Dayquil supposed to last? 8 hours, you think, right?
No, it's like 6.
Dayquil is like 6, yeah.
If I took it
You gotta re-up, dude.
9 in the morning, I'm gonna re-up.
Yeah?
You got it
Well,
with you?
yeah, now you're going to recharge?
I'm re-upping.
He's leaving. You guys are stuck with me now. Oh, man. He's not the champion now. Jumanji 2 overhyped. I don't know what that opinion indicates, but I'm interested in it. How can...
I think the controversy there is the Jumanji 1 is so good. People are saying Jumanji 2, not that bad. Surprisingly okay.
Okay.
And I back that. Surprisingly okay.
Yeah, this is the Rock Jumanji we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Surprisingly okay and fun.
All
A
right.
fun movie.
Yeah, Angie said the same thing about it. She enjoyed it much more than she expected to. She had a good time with it, she said. Yeah.
It's rare that a drug box catches me off guard, Jared Petty.
Oh, what is this?
Directions. Take only as directed. Do not exceed 4 doses in 24 hours. Then children and adults 12 years and older, 2 liquid caps with water every 4 hours.
4 hours?
We were all way off.
We are way off. Wow. Well, that's what I get. And that's why I'm not a doctor, unlike Dr. Greg Miller.
You should probably double them up.
Huh?
I should double them up?
Yeah.
No, you should not overdose on drugs. That's a very
it's
bad
not,
idea.
These aren't drugs. These are Dayquil.
Those are drugs.
Do not exceed 4 doses in 24 hours. So
Yeah.
that would still leave me with the ability to have, if I doubled up, one more dose.
Do not double up.
Cool, Greg. What I'm going to do is take 1 Dayquil pill and 1 NyQuil pill and see who wins. You in?
That's a
Yeah, dude, I love mixing.
very bad idea. Do not do this.
I don't like how scared Jared is.
I am scared.
Somebody's got to be the adult around here.
I
Just
think you
having
should
to
do
read
it
the
to prove my
reference.
point.
I don't mean to be that annoying person,
No,
but
no, someone
part
has
of
to
my
be an
life
adult.
is taking medication, and you should take your medication when and how prescribed and no other way. That's very, very important because when you screw up, sometimes really terrible things can happen.
Only
That's
in
it.
the movies.
That is untrue. That is definitely untrue. But yeah, you gotta be good with it. All right, so oh wait, we got more Jumanji stuff going on here. A lot of people seem to like it. Does Cool Greg have any ideas for WrestleMania signs? Cool Greg, got any?
I mean,
Thomas wants to know.
I've seen a bunch of cool Greg host signs that always makes me feel hella good.
Yeah?
I like seeing kind of funny. This kind of wrestling. I don't know. Go with promote. We have like a subsection of the best friend community.
Okay.
To focus only on wrestling.
Is that kind of wrestling?
Kind of wrestling.
Is
yeah,
it kind of
so show them
wrestling
some
or
love.
kind of wrestling?
Wrestling.
Kind of wrestling. Okay.
Not kind of wrestling.
All right.
But yeah, I've only brought one sign to a show, and I had my boy hold it. I didn't even hold it.
What was your sign?
It was just my friend's name who's in jail. Just thought it'd be cool to have a picture with John Cena looking at it. You
Okay.
know? So
Hold
yeah,
it
we
up
just
for him.
did that. Yeah. But yeah, as far as signs go, I don't know. Smiley face would be cool. Flaming garbage truck on fire or something.
Very good.
Hold it
I like
down for
the
team.
kind of wrestling thing, definitely.
Yeah, hold it down for the
So
wrestlers.
interesting. Like, oh look, GI.
I forgot. I signed up
Yeah.
when I
You got to sign up
traded
for
into
that.
way
Absolutely.
way too much stuff there.
No,
So-
I still love getting the magazines in the
Me
mail.
too. Yeah. Except we I have them come here and we always forget and they're all shoved in there with the Burger King coupons.
Oh, you're just going to read this out loud now? Is that what
I'm just
we're
gonna page through, see
All
what
right.
Andy McNamara and the boys are up to here.
flip through,
And
see what
girls.
the folks are up to? Yeah, they just get. Oh, look, there's Franklin. I haven't seen him in a while. What's
He's
Franklin?
part of
doing?
the top 300 games of all time.
Franklin the game.
Yeah, Franklin the game.
Franklin the game. That's it. That's it's got a high driving skill. His special ability was always the most useful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really like Franklin's special
Yeah.
ability. Yeah, slowing down while you were driving, man, that was great. Man, I love that game. That's a real good game. Oh, big surprise there. The Toys R Us founder died today. I heard about that. That's
kind
what
of eerie.
Charles said. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah.
As the company is dying,
Yep.
so too does he.
That is kind of sad.
It's kind of like remember when Charles Schultz died?
Oh yeah, I remember
The
that.
fucking day the last Peanuts comic ran, it was like
On
Jesus.
Sunday, that's the last one. Yeah, I wept that day.
Yeah.
You like the Peanuts?
No, that's why I cheered it.
Oh, you cheered.
I cheered his death
cheered
and
the
the
death
end.
of Charles Schultz. I'm so sad right now.
No, I didn't cheer his death.
Okay.
But no, I didn't like the Peanuts
You know
either.
what the Peanuts? What, are you
I'm
familiar?
joyless.
All right, no,
I'm
no.
joyless. I don't like the cartoon movies. Snoopy, overrated. Charlie Brown, way overrated.
Okay, now before we get to Snoopy and Charlie Brown overrated, was your introduction to Charlie Brown like the crappy last 20-year run, or was it the 1954 to 1970 or so run?
hate you, Jared.
Okay, because Peanuts, like Peanuts goes through phases, but like mid 50s to early 70s Peanuts is the best comic making ever, alongside Gary Larson's The Far Side.
Is he just fucking moving? Is he just moving?
The Far Side.
The Far Side. Nobody's gonna argue. Fantastic.
Yeah, the Far Side.
Peanuts is just like, oh, here's advice.
But that's not Peanuts. The first 15 years of Peanuts. The problem with Peanuts is it went like a lot of things. It just went on and on and on. And it was still often very good toward the end. But that period of time, Peanuts was everything that anybody ever did in a comic afterward. Is based on that 15-year run. Okay. You don't get The Far Side without that run of Peanuts. You don't get Calvin and Hobbes without that. It was subversive, politically oriented, extraordinarily thoughtful, very funny, never saccharine.
So then, I never saw this.
Yeah, it's really good. I have some collections. I'll bring them, and you'll never have time to read them. But
I'll page through it.
No,
I'm paging through this GI.
Yeah, I really believe hardcore that Peanuts in that period of time is wonderful.
Cool, Greg. Where do you come down on Peanuts? Not the food, the comic strip. Charlie Brown. No? Okay.
Actually, I do love cartoon movies. It kind of sucks that you don't like those. Like animated movies.
Yeah. I just have no joy anymore.
Cool, Greg, where do you come down on Peanuts? Not the comic book, the
food?
Oh, yeah, I love those. I love all nuts. Like, no, whatever. I don't know how to...
Is there any nut where you're like, nah, I'm good?
Nah, I don't think so.
You like pistachio?
Man. I like pistachios.
Peanuts, representing the Jimmy Carter, representing the George Washington Carver, all about the Peanuts. That's all right. I think
what
it
do you
burped
think?
In your face.
That's fine. What do you think the number top 300 games number 300 is?
In Game Informer's list? Game Informer's top Undertale.
Yakuza 0.
Oh, that's interesting.
293 Monster Hunter World.
Okay.
Bowl.
All right. What's number 200? And the GI folks, they do some good work.
They do.
But I'm not always in agreement because these lists are, by their very definition, they're just a giant
number 200
joyful pain.
Papers, Please.
Oh, that's yeah. Okay.
Now here's somebody getting. I'm just paging through this, right? I haven't read the entire thing. Number 203, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
203.
Criminally underrated. That's 203.
I'd have to look at what's above it, but I like Sands of Time quite a bit. That's a real good game.
Great game.
But I still think Prince Sands of Time is the second best Prince of Persia game.
I assume you being the dork you are, will get mad about this.
What?
191, ActRaiser.
No, that's fair.
Fair? Okay.
I love ActRaiser, but it has a lot of problems.
189, FIFA 15.
I have no opinion.
Interesting to jump onto a FIFA like that.
I have nothing to say
FIFA
about that.
15, I don't understand what. Oh, here you go. 152, ESPN NFL 2K. Respectable.
Respect. I'm kind of interested if you get up toward the top. What's the first one that's like a flag for you as you head down from the as you work your way backwards?
I've jumped to the top 100. Well, number 100, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
100?
Yeah.
What?
That's too low.
We gotta call someone.
Number 93, Bully. So they're saying Bully. Now, granted, it's worth pointing out we didn't read their whole intro.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, it might
so
not
maybe
be,
it's like these aren't.
That's true. We're not being fair here. Just pulling out. But I mean, it's fun. You got the message.
Over the
board
past
shouting
26
thing.
years, Game Informer, November. Yeah. Okay. In November 2009, our staff argued to create a definitive list of the top 200 games of all time.
Okay.
But gaming has changed, so the people who make Game Informer, 100 issues later, the staff is remarkably different, meaning we had fresh eyes in this review. Sat down to create a list of the top 300 games of all time that resulted in a new list that feels radically divergent.
Gotta love some radicalism.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to mention Charles Jacobson in the chat really doesn't like nuts.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Also, Ignacio
Sometimes you
Rojas was responded. I think when we were talking about the Dayquil, he was like, "My dad's a doctor. I think you're gonna be fine."
Thank you very much.
I just love the fact that the first time I ever saw Ignacio's name in I think it was You're Wrong.
You thought it was IGN?
I thought it was IGN Ignacio Rojas. Like I couldn't figure out
Number
what. Yeah.
87, Earthbound.
Number 87. Okay, we're living in a world where
Good man, how are you?
And we are live.
Bully is
You're
better
live,
than
yeah, so
Breath of the
be
Wild.
careful.
This is dogs and cats living together.
How do you feel about
right
that?
Here.
Game Informer's top 300 games.
Yeah.
Bully at like 93, I think I said. Breath of the Wild, 100.
Yeah, not okay.
I don't know about
no,
that.
I'm not okay with that. I like Bully.
This is Damon.
Damon, a pleasure.
This is Jared.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Damon. We're gonna have a good show today. I'm feeling good about this.
I kind of did like the inside shake, and I realized I gave me like the weak shake. But if I go around, I'm not sure I can reach Damon.
Number
We go with the
Yeah, oh, the
Just get
left.
one big hug.
there we go. There we go. It's
Let's
family
make
time.
Greg
Number
Miller-
44, Uncharted 4. It's hard to believe that Uncharted 3 is going to be in the top 43, but here we are.
right.
I'm going to keep paying.
Because I'd rather play Uncharted 4 than Breath of the Wild.
We're not there yet.
You know what? I'm laughing at our hardworking peers. These lists are always
Fantastic.
extraordinarily fun, and I'm glad they exist, and people work very hard to make them. You've been in these meetings. I've been in these meetings. You've been in these meetings.
Yeah. Number 12,
Yeah,
Minecraft.
you do your best.
opinions.
You do your best.
Number 11, Miss Pac-Man. Number 9, Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Final Fantasy 6. That's at
Skyrim
number
is
6.
the ninth greatest game of all time.
That is correct.
Dude, list your list.
5,
man. You gotta appreciate
World of
the list.
Warcraft.
I want to make my list
number
of
4.
top lists.
Number 4 of the top 300 games of all time. Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 3, Tetris. Hell yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Tetris, real good.
Kevin, can you give me a drum roll?
Drum roll.
Number 2, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Okay.
And the number 1 game
Super Mario World.
on the
Okay,
top
ladies and gentlemen.
300 games of all time, Uncharted 3. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Solid list making, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
And that's been your show. See you later.
That was the pre-show. Now we're getting to the real show. Kev.
Yes, sir.
Let me know when we're good to go.
Let me do audio checks so that
Okay.
quick. Sorry. Tim, go ahead, start.
What's up, guys? I'm Tim Gettys. Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
You sound great, Jared.
Greetings, man I don't know, sitting in a chair over there. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Good.
Jared likes to involve everybody. He plays in the back of the room.
Bless him. All right, and then Greg, you just talk.
Yeah.
Let me hear you talk, Kevin.
Hey there, testes. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Smash on the
we
ground.
got to record, so I don't think we should be answering my phone right now.
Okay.
Cool.
We're ready to rock and roll.
All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 163 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Brap. We're still taking it back.
Oh, I love
Wow.
that. And another one of the coolest dudes in video games, Jared Petty.
Doki doki.
Doki, indeed. And joining us for the very first time in the show, a very special guest, the Senior Manager of Publishing and Developer Relations and face of the Nintendo Nindies Showcase.
Nindies.
Damon Baker.
Damon Baker, yay!
Oh, thank you. If you're the Doki Doki, I'm the Panic.
Oh, okay. I gotta pick. Excellent.
Oh, I love that. Damon, thank you very much for joining us.
course, of
We
course.
first met at E3 last year.
Yeah.
At
Way
Rooster
back.
Teeth.
We go so
yeah,
far
we go
back.
so far back, and it was fantastic because we were catching up and talking, and I realized that you're essentially the Gio Corsi of Nintendo,
Oh, nice.
which is great because our audience
Loves
big,
Gio Corsi.
big fans of Gio
Yeah.
Corsi, him
Yeah.
coming out, supporting all the smaller
is a
titles, the
champ,
indies
yeah.
and stuff. And, you know, seeing you do that for Nintendo has been really interesting and cool. And I was a huge fan of you when you did the first Nindy Showcase video last
I'm
year.
blushing. Thank you very much.
Because I thought it was really cool that there was kind of a face to the Nindy line and to all that stuff, and the way that it wasn't a Nintendo Direct, it's kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
And the reason we have you here today is because there was just the latest one, the Spring 2018 Showcase, and we got to play a bunch of the games at GC.
Excellent.
So we're gonna talk about all of those. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny Games cast each and every week right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. We get together and talk about video games, all the things that we love about them. You can get the show early by going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where there's a pre-show, a post-show. You can watch live right now, or you can get the show early every Friday. It goes live to everyone else on Monday on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Either way you listen or watch, you can listen on podcast services around the globe, including Spotify. We appreciate it very much. Thank you guys for everything. But I want to get right into the show. ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen.
That was my question that I wanted to get into. As the LaCroix expert, what was your takeaway from him grabbing a peach pear?
Well,
Did you hand that to him?
So here's the problem: is Cool Greg is the guy that gets all the LaCroix and puts them in the fridge.
Yeah.
We're running low on options right now for cold LaCroix.
Gotcha.
If you want
Okay,
warm
okay,
LaCroix,
okay.
you got every
Go on the running options.
Colors of the rainbow going on. But I had to give them the offer of some of my less favorite of the flavors. So I'm sorry for that.
No,
But
it's very gracious. Now, you know, full disclosure, I did ask which one is your favorite. I didn't want to hog all of your favorite.
and I
LaCroix.
appreciate he was like trying to take the hit. He's like, you know what? I'll take whatever you don't want. And I'm like, you know, dude, I want it all. I'm just addicted to
That's
this point.
chivalrous. What is your favorite?
Passion fruit.
Passion fruit. Yeah.
There's another 600 cases coming your way.
Yeah, I know. Let's go.
I just want to interject for a second.
Yes.
and
Okay,
just
hold on.
inform
I'm sorry. Kevin Coelho from kindoffunny.com. You have a question?
I just want to inform you guys that we are on purpose trying to get a mix of flavors gone, so that the last like 6 months isn't just stuff that we hate.
Well, just
appreciate that.
Keep feeding me apricot and peach pear, and I'm good all day.
Do we need a challenge of how many of these I can get through over the course of this next hour?
Oh,
No.
trust me.
You will lose. Whatever you do, Tim will at least double.
Just naturally.
He'll also at some point silently get up and leave to go pee.
Happens all the time. So Damon, what's your life been like the last 2 years with the Switch? Because you used to do marketing at Nintendo for a long time, even during the Wii U time. When did you start doing that?
Well, my time at Nintendo started almost 12 years ago. I started off heading up the brand licensing program. So basically anything with Mario's face on it, I was licensing that, on T-shirts and toys and stuff like that. That was the lull between cereals. Was my era.
Dark times, we call them.
Yes, exactly.
Before you move on from that, actually, if you don't mind, what is the most interesting place you've ever found Mario's face?
We did have a line of underwear.
Oh, wow.
That had certain innuendos affiliated, be like a coin block and it'd say like I'd hit that. It was very tasteful, very popular, but there was some interesting.
Can I still get
Mario
those
stuff.
underwear? Because I would get those underwear.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd wear those too.
We'll dig through the archives and see what we have available.
what
Small size you got.
So I was doing that for a few years, and then Steve Singer over at Nintendo of America took over the licensing program. Originally, I was working with Gail Tilden, who had been with the company for a really long time. She started up like Nintendo Power. She was really affiliated with like the start of the Pokemon program over there. So speaking with her, I mean, you were mentioning Link to the Past. Oh my God. Like when I first started there, just geeking out with her over old Nintendo Power issues and the sweepstakes and the giveaways that they used to do. And the maps that I wore out by, opening and closing the Dragon Quest map over and over and over again to find out where I was supposed to go next.
Yeah.
So geeked out with her for ages over there. When she retired, moved over to Steve Singer's team, and they made a position for me to head up marketing for third party. They'd never really had that type of focus before, and that was in the Wii days. So riding that tremendous wave at that time, so getting to work with like EA on the Tiger Woods program, which was awesome to get him like swinging a Wii remote for the first time, and that you could actually kind of live out that real world golf fantasy that I'm sure everybody has. But it was crazy. So got to do marketing, and along that time, started working really closely with indie developers that were coming over during the Wii days, during the DS days, then onto the 3DS, and then onto the Wii U. And that's when we started really pushing that in a bigger way, because we were seeing so much excitement and new ideas and risk taking from the indie community. To do new things with like the hardware that we had. Yeah. So that was a ton of fun. But in the last couple of years, as your crack research team has found out, I kind of transitioned into this new role. Again, kind of starting up a new team that was focused on account management. In the past, it was always everybody kind of used their own connections within the third-party team at Nintendo, and that's how we were driving a lot of our business. So I was asked to help centralize that for North America and work with major publishers, but also kind of rally the troops around the indie program. And that has been a ton of fun. And driving that Nindies program, it's super cheesy, but it's also the community, the indie developers have kind of all embraced that as a badge of honor. They all share the information, they share their experiences, and there's a lot of pride in being affiliated as a Nindy these days.
What a dream come true, I'm sure. I mean, everybody grows up playing Nintendo, right? Everybody wants to get their game on a Nintendo, and I think for a long time it seemed like that was hard to do. How do you do that? PlayStation, Xbox, we're very vocal, and this is how, and and like what you're doing now, and not to mention the runaway success of the Switch, and every story I hear of like, it sold more copies on the Switch than any other platform combined.
Yeah, we love that. We send lots of cases of LaCroix to those people. But it's a dream come true, because growing up playing games in general, but especially being a Nintendo fanboy, it was really fun to be able to work with these developers, and you can see it in their eyes. It's not just talk to exploiting a system or exploiting an opportunity. These are people that grew up, that playing these games and these systems has been fundamental in the development of their own careers, and it makes you, man, it's infectious. It makes you want to try that much harder to make sure that they do well on the platform. And so
those are sirens in our world, not your car. Don't pull the car over. Well timed.
Yeah. If I say something wrong, then those sirens will go off, and Reggie will be in the car
punching through the wall.
Was that restructuring and that team creation tied to the Switch, or?
It was specifically in preparation for what we were anticipating with Nintendo Switch. We knew that there was going to be a warm reception, but we also knew that the Wii U was a really tough system for a lot of our third-party partners. We had some advocacy there, but it was tough, tough to develop for, tough to have that breakthrough in terms of audience reception. Tough to actually message what it was. And from the very beginning with Nintendo Switch, we knew exactly what it was. We could explain it succinctly. We could say, yes, this is a console experience that you can take on the go. Mm-hmm. And from the very beginning there, it was just a much easier proposition to be able to rally the troops and get people on board with it. So that's been fun. It's fun to see positive reception for it, for sure.
What was the internal process like going from the WiiWare and DSiWare days and through Wii U and into now Nindies being such a cornerstone of the business? What was the internal process like for that? How did that narrative evolve within Nintendo?
It's interesting. The evolution from each of those generations, I mean, you guys are probably familiar with Dan Edelman. He was on board and we were working really closely with him. He was instrumental in really creating this program from the beginning and driving it. The process, though, with Wii and with DS is that there was a different model where Nintendo actually controlled the release dates and the pricing of all of that digital content. When we transitioned over to Wii U and to Nintendo 3DS, we opened up support for self-publishing. And we really wanted to encourage this larger development community to be able to go out there and to really dictate, the way that their games should come out and give them that flexibility. So we had to create a lot of new programs from scratch in order to allow that to happen. It's why with the Wii U and with the 3DS, we've got an open dev environment. So anybody can apply, anybody can actually develop for those systems. You just have to register and you get access to dev kits and you can plug away with it. With Nintendo Switch, we decided to go with a closed development environment, mostly because of demand. At the very beginning, we were having trouble keeping up with producing hardware, dev kits, all of that kind of stuff. Also, establishing a new infrastructure around new hardware takes some time. So we decided to be more particular about the type of content that was coming in, but still relying on those relationships that we had established from the previous generations to really build a really good foundation and a good place to start. And so far, it's been a ton of work, and I can't believe that it's only been a year because it feels like it's been a decade. But in the last year, it's just been such a warm reception for that type of content coming over to the platform.
It's interesting to me with a huge Nintendo fan I have in my entire life. I know it's crazy. Who would have thought? But I am also a big fan of their marketing and specifically of the directs and how they do them. I've been a fan of the directs since they first started, but kind of seeing them evolve over time has been really interesting. And I feel like the Switch has been such a shift in how Nintendo not only talks about its products, but the way that things like release dates are announced or just trailers are revealed and even just having different names for Nindy Showcase versus Nintendo Presentation versus Direct Mini versus Direct. like I like that there's kind of just different like buckets that these things can be dropped into, and I also love the speed at which where it's like we're not wasting time. Like this new showcase that just happened was
oh my
like
God,
11 minutes.
Miss it, man. We raced through like 14 titles in like 10 or 11 minutes. It was crazy.
And it's like, so what's kind of the methodology behind separating those things differently, and like how in charge are you of kind of just making sure that the like what goes into direct, like why does Travis Strikes Again go here versus there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I can say that it's not any one person's decision. I mean, it's constant communication globally with our head office in Japan, NCL, and then also our European division, NOE. And just kind of putting all of our ideas together in terms of here are the cool things that we know about. These are the different messages. Some may be higher profile. Some might be things that are like under the radar, but deserve to get a bit more visibility and awareness. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we have all of these different brands. I think what I do worry about is that everything kind of gets lumped into this very accessible idea of Nintendo Direct as a video. But there's really only technically a certain number of Nintendo Directs that are ever produced because they're a different way that they're made, a different production value, and different types of content that goes into it. So what I'm just really happy about is to have more and more opportunities to promote all of this content to as wide of an audience as possible. And I think the Nintendo Directs really started by Nintendo seeing that we could actually control a message. You know, we used to do the press conferences at E3 every year, but you always run the risk of there being a technical malfunction or something.
The controller isn't being read right, so
Yeah.
the game doesn't look the way it's supposed to, and everybody freaks out online.
Totally. It's
Some
almost
guy
like that's
drumming
happened
like
before.
this, and it's a kid.
Surely not, Robbie.
I don't know what you're talking about. But it's, you know, there's a lot of risk, especially in terms of leaks and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's having this high production value video that is come together, that can be planned out in advance, that confidentiality can be ensured around it, and you can make something really special and relevant for the people tuning in, and you can reach more people around the world. It takes a ton of work to coordinate all of those efforts.
To make sure nothing goes wrong on it goes,
But it's worthwhile. It's pretty cool.
So from those videos from the directs or the showcases, whatever they are, there's usually the trailer videos will go up, and you know, as a frequenter of Reset Era and other forums, like it's always a big deal when people are like, oh my God, this YouTube video is breaking records for Nintendo or whatever. Like, do you guys look at that? Like, do you look at how many views the YouTube videos are getting?
There's a lot of analysis and comparing how different things have performed versus other, and always looking at how we can improve that or what works, what doesn't work. You know, maybe especially with a global focus, you know, we've done a lot of experimentation in terms of what time we go live. You know, because you know, with a time here on the West Coast in North America, you know, it has a different implication in terms of when that is going live in Europe and when that's going live in Japan. So I think we've played around with a lot of stuff. There's a lot of experimentation. I personally am always looking at the forums and seeing reaction, even though I shouldn't be. I remember back in the day, like one of the first videos I did, I made the mistake of going on to NeoGAF right afterwards, and somebody wrote like, this guy looks like a thumb. And I'm like, the first image I had in my head was of Spy Kids, like the bad guys. And I'm like, oh man, like what do I got to step up? But I mean,
I got to stop looking like a thumb.
I know, exactly. So, I mean, there can be distractions and everything, but I think the takeaway is we're always taking a look at what's going on. And I think one thing, at least in my department and on behalf of third party, I mean, we're always looking at what the fans are saying and the audience reaction, media reaction to things, and using that as something to build towards the decisions that we're making for the future as well.
Something all platforms, I think, are grappling with right now is discovery. With a surplus of product and new games being developed constantly, especially in the independent spaces. Curation and discovery is a challenge. And I like popping into my Switch every week and finding such a wide assortment of new games. But I wonder how Nintendo plans on dealing with Discovery in the coming years, especially when it comes to the Nindies and your role in that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, it's definitely front of mind, both for an on-device experience as well as off-device. So, we hope that most of our fans are going to the eShop every single week to see what's new, but we can't rely on that either. So, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of discussions going on internally, and we're looking at how we can improve different processes both on and off device. But the things that we can absolutely control is the cadence of messaging that's coming out and the more videos that we can do. I mean, personally, I don't want to have to wait like every 6 months in order to do another big Nindy announcement. I feel like we've got so much great content coming out on a regular basis that we can be putting out, different ways of making announcements, a much more regular basis. And so a lot of things are being worked on at the moment to kind of address the fact that there's so much great content coming over. We have a responsibility to help people find it.
Well, what I loved about what you guys have been doing, and even I'm talking about like weekly releases, not just like these giant events, is the fact that you're putting out such a breadth of content that when it goes out, like, I walked around the Nindy showcase at GDC this week, and it's totally one of those things at a glance. I can identify the games that speak to me, go play them, and then talk about them. But then when Brian Altano from IGN walks in, he sees different things in those games and goes plays something different than I do. And even though every week it seems like there's 18 games, every Thursday on Kind of Funny Games Daily, I'm like, well, there's 11 Switch games. If I don't say a platform, it's only on Switch. That's happening, but since so many people are using the system and are jumping in there and are playing stuff, they're finding new games that I don't think you'd normally hear about. But they're finding what they like and then talking about it, and you're seeing it spread still. To lead back to this is selling better than any other platform. This is outselling everything because there's still a hungry group there, and since so many people are excited about it, they're actually involved with it.
Yeah, it's really nice of you to say that. We're trying really hard to make sure that there's a breadth of content. There's a variety of things, that there really is something for everyone in there. And we're also really fortunate that there's such strong word of mouth too. Because it's one thing, I mean, I could go out there and say, you should play this game, but who's going to listen to this schmuck? But if your friend tells you that you should go and play this game, you're going to trust their opinion. You're going to at least check it out.
Absolutely. And it was that thing, it was you this week, I want to say in games industry, but someone, or no, it's Kotaku, asked you about the top 10 selling Switch indies, right? And you put them out there. Oh,
SteamWorld Dig 2, Stardew Valley, Kamiko, Celeste, Fast RMX, Golf Story, Enter the Gungeon, Overcooked, NBA Playgrounds, and Shovel Knight Treasure Trove.
And that's such a diverse selection of games, right? And it's not, if you were to ask me and I started rattling off, I think I'd miss a lot of those. Like, Enter the Gungeon is awesome. And it's rad that it's found an audience on Switch, let alone one that big.
Yeah.
What's cool to me, though, is looking at this list, I can identify why I think it made the list. And a lot of it goes back to the way that it was shown off in the different showcases, or things like Celeste. It is the word of mouth. Fast RMX being there early.
Golf Story,
Kamiko,
we were all crazy for.
Golf Story, and that was totally from the showcase, where it's like when it's put next to other games that you've heard of, like SteamWorld Dig 2, and that you're excited for, like, oh, if I know the quality of this game, the things around it are probably somewhere close. And I think that it's interesting to see things like Kamiko that came out at a time when people are just like, I don't know what the hell this is. I haven't heard it talked about anywhere, but it's on the eShop, and I want to give something a shot.
Yeah, and I love that they're side by side with other games that may never make this top 10 list, but that are totally worth your time, and that they're allowing you to go, oh, this is their next step. What is that? Something like Blaster Master Zero, which is probably never going to be a top 10 seller, but somebody put way too much TLC into, and it's just delightful.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah.
And it's just superb, and there's a lot of that in there. I am an old Nintendo complainer from their Virtual Console days when it went from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 a week, and I was like, no, where are my games? And I love that there really is more this, we're just going to give people a chance to like lots of different things and land in their niche and be okay with that. I am enjoying this approach. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I can't take credit for all of it, but
just do it. Just take it. Just say it's all you.
But it's been a tremendous team effort, and it really it warms my heart to see people so receptive to it. It's really nice to see.
I, again, as somebody that is addicted to video game forums, especially the pre-hype cycle going into directs and things, and seeing everybody get excited about stuff and kind of predict what might be there, what they hope is there, and all of that. When it comes to the Nindy showcases, like especially the summer one last year, because GDC last year, there was the first spring one, and that was even before the Switch came out, where a lot of the indies were announced, and that was really exciting because there were some big ones there. But it wasn't until the summer one that we got to see, like, oh, we're getting Steam World. We're getting, like, a lot of these big indie games that people were hoping for. Rocket League was one of them that wasn't there yet, but then at E3 that was announced. For this indie thing, we were doing a predictions episode on, I think it was us two, on Games Daily last week. Yeah. And I couldn't really, I'm like, well, they kind of got a lot of the big indie games that are possible. And it's like, what is going to be that thing? And I like that we're at a point now where, there's things like Banner Saga that gets announced, but it is just like, oh, here's a lot of stuff that you've never heard of. And they're cool.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the mentality of Nintendo now in terms of, is it about just let's get the game on the system, or is there a focus on we want it to be an exclusive indie, or a focus on it doesn't need to be exclusive, but we want an exclusive feature, or first on Switch? Like, where's the priority?
I have different opinions than other people do on this. I think the exclusivity message is something that's easy to rally behind. It's easy to identify as that being a point of differentiation. So it's easy to go, hey, look, these are all exclusives or have an exclusivity window, and so we can all lump them together. I don't put as much value behind exclusivity, at least in terms of indie content, because these guys have to make business decisions that are right for them. And to strong arm them into committing to just one platform when they could be coming out on all platforms at the same time, it feels unfair. So I like the first reveal messaging, and that's what I really like to get behind, is if we can be the first platform announcing a title, then automatically
people associate it with that.
Exactly. But you're not putting that developer in a difficult position. So my level of priority there is more on the first reveals, and that's why you see in the indie showcases there's a huge focus on this is the first time this has been announced or confirmed for Nintendo Switch. I think the thing that we can do a better job about is then closing the loop on the titles that we've previously talked about. So every one of these indie showcases, it's about announcing what's new, what's coming out in the future. And we're trying to be better about these are the titles that we know are supposed to come out within the next 3 to 6 months. Sometimes that gets bumped out. It's indie development, but that's almost like a bad word at this point. But I think, but to that point, it's also, it seems like a great opportunity for us to then go back and close the loop on something like a Pocket Rumble and work with Chucklefish and see, how do we announce when it's going to be coming out and why people should be excited about the amount of time that it's taken to get here. So I personally want to look for more of those types of opportunities to provide more regular updates and because when I look at the forums, the anticipation for something like an indie showcase is awesome, but a lot of the asks are like, it's for us to close the loop. It's like, okay, we want an update on what you announced 6 months ago. And we have such precious time to work with. We want to focus on those really cool reveals that maybe you didn't even know you wanted. Yeah.
So like a lot of people in the audience, I'm pecking away at a pretty good demo. And one day I want my finished demo in all its glory on Switch.
Yep.
How do I, as a dude coding in my garage, make that happen?
Yeah. So right now I mentioned we have a closed development environment, but we accept pitches. And my team and we're looking at, we actually manually go through all of the pitches that are coming through. I mean, and it could be, on average, it's probably around 50 a week that we're getting. Sometimes it's much more, sometimes it's a little bit less. But we're going through those. We've got some guidelines that we're working towards, and we kind of evaluate whether it's meeting those guidelines or not. And then we either say yay or we say, unfortunately, this opportunity isn't available for you right now, but keep posted, because we do intend one day to open up that dev environment for everybody. We're just not there yet. So we ask for patience there. Or we ask them to revise their pitch and to go a different direction or to prove something that we're looking for. For us, we're not just looking at the content. We're also looking for the aptitude of the developer and their capabilities of reading instructions and following instructions and getting through this process with as little hand-holding as possible. just because we are resource constrained with the amount of business that's going on right now. So we look for those developers that really show that they know what they're doing, or they're willing to cooperate in an efficient manner to get that through. So if all of those stars align, then we kind of check the box and we move them through and we give them access, and they can access the forums and the white papers and order dev kits and on their way.
Do you recommend brevity in a pitch?
That helps, but it also, you need to convey, what's good about it, and it shouldn't be confined to just a couple of sentences or an elevator pitch. We've heard a lot of elevator pitches, and we've received a lot of full gameplay overviews and tech documents and walkthroughs that are way more information.
Yellow pages showing up on this game. Yeah,
totally. So I think it's, we unfortunately can't share the guidelines. We can't really share a preferred template. It would be nice to have some sort of an awesome template that we could just say, fill all of this in, and then we can evaluate it. So maybe we'll get to that one day. But right now, I mean, what we've been saying is we put a heavy emphasis on partner curation versus content curation. We've been working really hard on that over the course of this last year. So working with trusted partners, indie publishers or developers that have already kind of proven themselves, and we entrust them to tell us what content is going to make sense for the platform. If it's a publisher like a Raw Fury or a Devolver or an Adult Swim, Chucklefish, Team 17,
weird.
all of them. Yeah,
it's gonna be weird and bloody and crazy.
Yeah. But I mean,
neon colors.
Pixelated, gory. But any of these publishers, they've instilled a level of trust with us, and so then if they come to us and say, hey, this game is going to be perfect on Switch, but they're not signed up yet, can you help get them through? Then we do acknowledge that, and we're like, yep, no problem, we'll get you through. So that's also another way of, getting your game through is establishing those relationships with some of those. There's so many indie publishers these days. Everybody is, even the major publishers are starting up their own indie labels, so there are a lot of opportunities to work with some of those trusted partners that we have.
It's kind of become a meme of the whole when's it coming to Switch situation. Is that do you see that as a good thing, or is it kind of stressful where it's like, man, we just don't have the capabilities to do all of this?
I think it depends. I think it really depends on whether it's an experience that makes sense for Nintendo Switch. I think because a lot of these indie developers are making money off of the platform, then there's a rush to go to this hot new thing and try and take advantage of it. So no, I don't think everything makes sense to come over to Nintendo Switch. But I do think that if there's an experience, the beauty of the platform is that if it's a console experience, this might be the first time that you can take it on the go. And if it's a mobile experience, maybe this is the first time that you can play it on a TV or play it with console controls. And so if it kind of bridges that gap, then there's a really cool opportunity there for that content.
At the Indie Mix here at GDC on Monday night, if it's a few dozen different
shoulder to shoulder in there.
Yeah, indie games all there set up. It's an awesome event. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. And this year, every demo I would get would end with, and we also, are going to be coming to this little guy, and they'd bust out this. Do you want to play the Switch version? The Switch version. We haven't announced it yet, but and it's like everyone had their Switches and their games loaded because they're all so stoked.
That's the coolest way. I think if anything, that's the most brilliant element of being able to develop on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Is you no longer have to bring a PC rig or a huge 14-pound laptop with you everywhere you go at GDC. It's just take it out of your pocket and you can show your game in the way that it's supposed to be seen. And
we had the Messenger folks come through, right? And their whole thing was well, we could bring the PC and wait, do you guys have a Switch dock there? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we got that. I was great, perfect. Okay, great, thank you. Yes, that's way easier.
Yeah, I love that game. Oh my God, Sabotage or yeah.
What's the most fun you've had playing a game on Switch?
The most fun I've had. I am a sucker for inclusivity. I love any game where you can play with a big group of people. So actually some of the most fun that I've had with Switch would be nights with Jackbox.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've made enemies introducing people to Overcooked.
Oh yeah.
But I've made a lot of friends introducing people to like Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time.
Yep.
Both of them are brilliant experiences, but it's you kind of have to read your audience as well in terms of like recommending a game. But yeah, I kind of the most fun that I have with Switch in particular is in playing multiplayer games in the same room.
Yep.
You mentioned Golf Story before. That game, I was sucked in. They actually use that term, I think, in the game. I was sucked in. For like the 20 hours straight in order to get from start to finish. You know, I just loved that game and totally got immersed into that kind of RPG golf mechanic. It was brilliant. So, you know, SteamWorld Dig 2 as well. Start to finish, I had to binge it like Netflix just to get all the way through to the end. I'm playing Night in the Woods at the moment as well and kind of binging on that as well. But yeah, I think in terms of fun, it's definitely playing with other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that you said Jackbox. Absolutely. It's a wonderful combination of accessibility and in a couple of unique ways. Accessibility can mean a lot, but the idea that anybody on appropriate devices can jump in, anybody that's familiar with games or not so familiar with games can jump in. Yeah. It is, like you said, inclusive, and that's wonderful. You can do it almost anywhere. You can do it over a Skype chat. You can do it at a party, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I appreciate that.
We were definitely like cheeks hurt from laughing
Yeah.
over the course of that night. It was awesome.
So with the Switch being region free, does that affect indie games in any major way?
Yeah, because it's still region specific for digital content. You still have to log into like a regional eShop in order to access it. But it does allow for a lot more flexibility of access. The fact that we can do a single ROM submission, we do a global ROM, instead of you having to submit your game to 3 different regions in order to get it through is a huge time saver for developers. So that's really convenient. But in terms of the access, it's been, I think it's an area that we want to expand on as well. I think we are working on, how do we, or at least evaluating whether we can expand Nintendo eShops into other regions as well. But right now we see a lot of people kind of diving into it. The cool thing is that for the most part, the European and the North American releases are pretty much synced up. It's not like back in the day where there was like a huge 6-month gap between when a physical cartridge actually made its way or got localized over into other regions. So that's a lot a faster process. And what's really cool is that Japan is really being a lot more proactive about embracing indie content. And our teams over there are really trying to bring over as much indie content as possible. And digital-only content, because that's still kind of a newer market over in that region. So it's exciting to see them kind of jumping on board, and a lot of our developers over here localizing and being able to distribute in Japan for the very first time. That's pretty cool.
How's the split between physical and digital growing? Because you did a presentation at GDC a couple days ago. I saw that I thought was interesting.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's so geeky that I would appreciate this. But Nintendo has always been known as like, okay, you buy physical cartridges and you collect them, you hang on to them. But with Nintendo Switch, I mean, definitely on the third-party side, then our digital business is actually greater than the packaged goods business, which is what all of the major publishers are saying as well. You see the financial updates from EA, Take-Two, Ubisoft, Bethesda. Everybody is basically saying, our digital sales are greater than packaged. And that is awesome to see that reflected on Nintendo Switch as well. It means that we share a similar audience, which you would never really expect.
That was the other cool thing during the presentation you did was you had the slides of like the Nintendo demographic and how you were talking about how it would be the kids that are playing for the first time or the adults that grew up with Nintendo.
Right.
But then you showed Karen, the woman from the original Nintendo Switch commercial, bringing the Switch to the party, and you were joking. It's like, I mean, dude bros and people at parties are now the demo for Nintendo as well.
I mean, I thought she was an asshole back in the time, in the day. I mean,
and now how many times have you been out at a party or an event and you're like, it's the commercial. The commercial has really come to life. It happens to me all the time.
A couple days ago, eating dinner at a restaurant, and like I look over and I'm like, I can't believe this is actually. I was like, they're playing Mario Kart right now.
Yeah, and they're the cool person. Like, how did that happen?
I am going to be Karen for Halloween this year. We're already working on the costume.
No, but I mean, like, that's the thing about when we're talking about how the Switch works and where it excels and all this stuff. It is the fact that it goes with me anywhere I go, and I buy everything digital. I bought the biggest memory card I could. So now there's just dozens of games on my Switch for whatever mood you're in, or like when I'm getting ready for a flight, going to the eShop and be like, I've heard about this and I heard about that, and I'll do that and buy a whole bunch of different stuff. You just have there as this like smorgasbord when you get there.
Yeah. So, with this gold rush that we keep talking about of everybody trying to get on the Switch, and like the Switch version sells better than everywhere else combined and all that, as pundits, we sit here and we're like, that's going to end eventually. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, do you have?
I hope not.
Of course not. But I mean, is there conversations happening to try to like maintain a way to keep that going?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We want to keep that momentum going, and a lot of it has to do with can we add even more ways of promoting that great content and marketing it and creating visibility for that great content. First year. Really proud of the quality, the caliber of content that came through on Nintendo eShop. We have to keep that going, but then you add to that catalog. That doesn't go away. That's still there, and you still want people to know about the bestsellers and the best experiences that are on the platform. But you have to find ways of adding to that as well. So, I hope that people don't use it or expect that just because they release a title on Nintendo Switch, then automatically it's going to sell better.
Here come the big bucks.
Yeah, it's a lot more than that. They gotta, especially this day and age with indie development, you have to put as much time into the marketing and the promotion of it as you do on the development side, and that's tricky. But when we find the things that we're passionate about and that we believe in, then we try and lend a helping hand there as well, and hopefully we can keep finding more opportunities to do that.
Cool.
Looking at the top 10 from last year of the selling games, was there any of those that you were like surprised at how well it did?
It's hard because I saw all those sales numbers on a regular basis, so it wasn't like a real big surprise. I was really happy to see so many of those titles because all of them I thought were deserving. I even spent a lot of time with NBA Playgrounds. I'm not gonna lie, but like all of those titles were great, and they were all unique experiences, and they were all cool. Actually, I met with Psyonix this morning, and they're a little bit hurt. They were like, I thought, I saw the list of indie titles, and I was like, dude, indies is like a self-declared term. I'm not going to assume that anybody is an indie because some people get offended by that. Some of the bigger publishers are like, they're definitely independent. But maybe they don't want to self-identify as being indie. So we try not to assume on any of that. But geez, Rocket League has killed it this year as well. So I think we don't want to leave anybody out.
Cry me a river, Psyonix.
I know.
Get out of here, Jeremy Dunham. You're fine.
Who coined the term Nindy?
There was a person on Twitter that actually came up with the term.
Okay.
I can't remember his name, but when I saw it, I was like, I really want to use this. And so I reached out to him to get permission. And he was like, okay, that's cool. And I saved the tweet.
He's just like, never forget my name, though. Make sure you always reference me by name when you talk about this story.
Oh, I feel terrible. But I have it all saved and everything just for records. But I think that it was a great opportunity, especially during the Wii U days, for that community to kind of all rally around each other and support each other. I mean, we used to participate in the Indiecade show over in Culver City every year, which is a great great show. And like a few years ago, I mean, we had this awesome indie presence there, and those developers still stay in touch. I mean, they're all like this super tight bond because they were one of the first groups of nindies that we kind of banded together and that we promoted them as a group. And it's really cool to see those relationships, build over time and stay true. It's so important in this industry. It's all about sharing, and sharing those ideas and that experience. And I'm glad that we've got that sense of community with Nintendo as well.
And it's definitely still going. Being at the demos a couple days ago, playing through all the new Nindies that were announced, like there is definitely a sense of camaraderie between all the different devs, and especially this like contingent of Montreal people. Where it's it's like there's
the
like
US needs to step up.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's cool to see them kind of like band together and support each other's games. And me and Kev were playing a demo of one of the games, and people were like, no, if you like this, you got to go over there and play this other one. And it's like, it's cool where it is this idea of, maybe not everything's for everyone, but there's definitely a couple things there for you. What are you most excited for of the games that you announced this week?
They're all my babies. I'm not gonna choose just one. I mean,
I'll answer for you. Legacy, Luminous. All right.
Oh my
Brand new
gosh.
though out the gate. You got to go with Garage. Thank you, everybody. It's been a good Gamescast.
Garage looks great.
Both those games are brilliant. The trance vibration stuff and Luminous.
When I went over there and they were like, "All right," I'm like, "Mizuguchi, all right, yeah, of course." Putting them underneath my legs, like,
yeah. It was funny. I mean, just even if you weren't there at the booth, every so often you'd hear this, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're
Rumble,
not familiar, remember when they Res was coming out for PSVR and they were showing the Res suit that had all the
trance vibrator.
Exactly. Us all wearing being goons. When I sat down to do the Luminous demo this time around, I'm a huge Luminous fan. They were like, all right, cool. They gave me a belt that had 2 extra Joy-Cons in the sides. They gave me 2 extra Joy-Cons to put in my pockets, and then they gave me 2 extra ones to put underneath my legs while I sat down. That way with the beat and the music and it would go, and it was like,
It's so
I'm like, I can see me doing this. As a huge Luminous dork, I'm going to do this when I go.
When I lived in Japan, I had a couple of chances to buy the original Res Trance vibrator, but it was always used.
Oh.
And it came with a little like washable vibrator condom, and I just couldn't bring myself to purchase it. And I kind of regret that.
Yeah.
I really do.
I'm super stoked about The Messenger.
Yeah.
That's the game we did a Let's Play that if you're watching live, it's not live yet, but tomorrow it'll be live on Friday. Friday, it's going live to everybody. You can watch it. I'm absolutely in love with the game. It's so cool. It's a Ninja Gaiden-esque game. It's 8-bit, and then it turns 16-bit, and you have to solve platforms that way. The art style changes. The music changes. I cannot believe how cool that looks.
Full disclosure, my wife is doing brand and PR stuff for it.
Yeah. Brian Altano yesterday tweeted, he's like, this is going to be the Shovel Knight of this year. And I'm like, oh, that's such a good way to put this. Like, I think that there's so much love, care, humor put into it. I had a blast playing it for the 30 minutes I did. Another one that me and Kev played was Just Shapes and Beats.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
It's a rhythm shmup. Have you seen this?
No.
I feel like it'd be right up your alley as well. It's
What is this called?
It's called Just Shapes and Beats.
Oh, okay.
That's what the game is. Just some shapes and some beats.
All right.
And you can play up to 4 players, and you're these little shapes flying around shmup style, but it's all like the things are attacking you. It's all based on rhythm.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And it's really, really cool. Kevin was so bad at it. It blew my mind.
Kevin,
It's like
you're out there representing kind of funny.
No. For a sec, I was like, I'm not gonna play this. And then the dev, very nice guy, was like, come on. And I was like, honestly, I don't want to play this. I'm really bad at rhythm games. And Tim was like, yeah, he's really bad.
I really wanted to play because, of course, right up my alley.
And
Of
Tim
course,
was like, just
me and
play.
Kev were waiting in line to play.
No one will just. I wasn't waiting in line to play. I was waiting in
you were
line
next to me.
yeah.
Andrew, Renee, and Brittany from What's Good Games were playing in front of us, and I'm just watching super. Kev's back there talking shit, being like, every time they mess up, talking shit, and then we go to sit down.
Just when Andrea messes up because she's so good at rhythm games. She's famous for being good at rhythm games. We know that.
Is that what she's famous for?
She is? Amplitude. Oh yeah, she's damn good.
I know she's good at it. I'm just saying.
Famous for it.
That's what she's
for it.
famous
It's true.
All right, my apologies. Okay.
I'm trying to see what else. Oh, Kevin, you played this one, Pudu? Puda?
Puda, but they're saying that it's just going to be called Pod.
Good. Okay, Pod. P-O-D-E is what it
Yes.
is. And it talk to people about it. No, it's okay for this.
I really enjoyed it. it's a co-op if you want it to be a game where you can switch whether you're this little rock guy or this light ball, like a little star. And I think that the story is that the light is a star that fell to Earth and is trying to get back up there, and the rock's helping him. But like they each have these little powers you can do, and it's just a fun little puzzle game that's beautiful. It's got a fantastic style and a lot of fun.
It's like a third-person snipper clips style game. Me and Kev played, and the accessibility is a big thing there, where there's a functionality where if you click in on one of the sticks, you can take control of the other one. So if you're playing with like a little kid, you don't need to
Or Tim.
So there's two ways to look at it. If you're playing with a little kid, you can like take control of them, and the idea behind that is it's kind of like no kid wants you to take the control and be like, oh, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
But when it's part of the gameplay, it makes it feel a bit more like natural. But then there's the other side of when you're two grown men, you can just switch and mess around. Start walking like New Super Mario Bros. Style. Start walking towards a cliff and then switch characters so they keep walking. Or when you're Kevin, who just likes to play co-op puzzle games by himself, he'll just insist to do it all.
I'm just flashing back to my driver's ed teacher with his brake over on the other side of the car.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no. Oh.
But yeah, it was definitely, it was cool, and like it's those types of unique experiences and like gameplay enhancements that I'm like, I love that there's thought being put into this. So it's like anybody can play these games and have fun with them.
Yeah. I do love Bomb Chicken.
Oh my God. Bomb Chicken looks awesome.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
Yeah. 2D platformer where you're this fat little chicken that just lays bombs. And the bombs you can stack on top of each other. The simplest control scheme of all time. You can just move, and one button is bomb. There's no jump. The only way to jump is to bomb yourself up and go. And it is so cool. You can play with one. You can play with one Joy-Con, even like any button combination you want, because you can use the trigger to jump and then just move with the stick. And it's super funny looking and
really cute
again,
art
puzzle
style.
based and fun. Kevin had a great time with it as well.
It sounds great.
Yeah, I liked it a lot from my demo.
Oh man.
Trying to see what else I played.
I mentioned it in passing, but Garage I really dug.
Yeah.
It's like what easiest pitch would be like. It looks like Hotline Miami. It's a twin stick shooter of you're stuck in you wake up in a garage and there are zombies and there are police and they're fighting each other and they're also fighting you now, like both the zombies and the police. So you're just marching through, getting ammo, getting health, trying to survive and figure out what's going on in this garage.
Yeah, it looks cool. Love the art style of that one. And Travis Strikes Again was playable at this, and I loved looking at it because it seems to me, from at least the bit that we saw, it's not exactly the same gameplay as the original No More Heroes, No More Heroes 2, but it is a bit more of a top-down perspective that I actually think fits the story and the gameplay style a lot better. So I'm very excited for that one. And then while we were there was the announcement that Hyper Light Drifter, Nidhogg 2 and Crashlands are coming, and Nidhogg 2. Let's go.
Yeah, especially with the Joy-Con share on that. That's a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
All right, I promised that I would get you out of here by 4:30.
Shout out to West of Loathing as well.
West of Loathing was cool.
Asymmetric, yes.
I know, our stick figure RPG. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
I played it at PAX a long time ago and really dug it, and then they broke my heart when they just said PC. But now it's coming to Switch.
Coming to Switch.
They listened.
Yeah. So we got to let you go. Do you have any final things to say?
No,
about
this is
anything?
an honor. I've been watching you guys forever. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
How you guys are killing it these days. So thank you so much for thinking of me. This is really nice.
No, please. It's an honor that you came by. Thank you.
man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just slid in his DMs. That's literally how that happened. I'm happy this worked out as well as it did. But Damon, thank you very much.
No,
I'll let you go. Are we good on time? Everything good? Awesome.
We did it.
Great.
Good job.
We did it.
Yeah, nice job, Tim. What a host. What a host.
A winner is you.
There we go.
Winner is you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every week we get together, talk about video games, all things we love about them, and thank you for loving us doing that. Patreon.com/kindoffunnygames where you can get it early. You can watch it live. You can get the pre-show, the post-show, and all that stuff. What?
I was looking at the tabs. Pool Panic. I forgot about that. We didn't talk about Pool Panic.
Physics-based.
I saw that at Day of the Devs on the big movie screen. I was like, this is a trip. This is a weird
This is an Adult Swim.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Until next week. I love you.
And everybody buy Luminous when it comes out, so we keep getting Luminous. It's the best puzzle game of all time.
Cool.
And now we go to the post show. Hey, post show people. Oh,
Yeah,
you
we're
do
still
your
live.
you want to do the pointing?
We can strike you. You're good to go.
What time is it? Is it 4:30? Okay. I mean, how long is the post show? Like Do you want me to bail? I can bail.
Oh, no. You can
No,
stay.
you're totally welcome.
I just
Yeah,
promised
yeah.
Rich George we would get you out of here. And I want to make sure he's not angry.
wanna
As long
piss
as you're
off.
cool.
No, you do not want to piss off Rich George.
Let's talk. Okay, let's point after the post show. Cool. Yeah, let's pull people up. You down to stay for another 5?
Yeah, I can do 5.
Awesome.
For sure.
Hello, everybody.
Yay.
Let's see.
That was a good one. I felt good about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Zachary Jones's kind of funny black zip-up hoodie just arrived. A woman at an Xbox event was like, "I'm gonna send you codes, but I want a hoodie." I was like, "All right." So she, all right.
Modern day
The people
Marty.
doing
are.
Earthfall on it. I'm like, all right, cool, deal.
That's hilarious.
George Neller says, I'm a lot more likely to commit to getting an indie on Switch if I can't get it anywhere else. I just bought Golf Story for an upcoming trip because playing it on another console just isn't an option.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of DMs, that's how I got in touch with Golf Story. Sidebar
really?
reached out to me via Twitter, and they're like, "Hey, we've been working on this game. It's really cool." They were originally making it for Wii U, and I saw it. I'm like, "Oh my god, we got to get this
Yeah.
on board." So yeah, we get I get a few messages on Twitter, and Bomb Chicken same
Yeah.
way.
Wow.
So maybe that'll be the next Golf Story.
What do you find the devs that are approaching you are typically using as tool sets? The ones that you're being hit up.
We have a lot of people using Unity. I assume a lot of people are going to be using Game Maker pretty soon after that announcement. But a lot of them are using their own proprietary stuff, which tends to be pretty. It's a little bit easier actually if they're using like C++ or something like that. So. Yeah, it's a variety, but there's a lot of Unity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rose617 says, Damon seems a joy. I can confirm.
Stephen Neely
Havoc
says,
Maker says, thanks for everything you do for the industry, Damon Baker. Much
Oh,
respect.
What? That's very nice. Thank
Stephen
you.
Neely says, I have a $3,000 PC, but I can't stop playing my Switch. Don't worry, on your PC you can play everybody's favorite game, TurboTax.
Havoc Maker has a good question.
Yeah.
The big question. What color Joy-Cons do you currently use on your Switch?
I've got the fluorescent greenish yellow ones.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
the
I
ARMS
love
ones.
those.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
use those for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what? Somebody came to me with a really cool idea. I don't know if we can do it.
Okay.
But you know how the system can detect whether what color Joy-Con you're
Yeah.
using?
Yeah.
What if you could tap into that on a game? Like if you, in game, it's detecting what color Joy-Con you're using, and so your character reflects that color.
And microtransactions. You can't open this door unless you have the Super Mario Odyssey red one.
I do like the idea though. That's neat.
that'd be
I
kinda
kind
cool.
of assume that Taiko Drum Master would do something with that when it comes over, but I don't know.
Should. We kind of referenced it like in Payday 2 because we had that new character Joy that was using that actually was the colors from the traditional
Right.
Joy-Con controllers.
Oh, that's rad.
What color are you guys using right now?
I'm a slate man myself. I'm waiting for Taiko. I'm going to switch to red and blue when Taiko finally comes to the States. But until then, slate.
Super Mario Red.
Right on, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. When that bundle dropped, it was like, and I was like, Jen, do you want your own Switch? She's like, I don't need one. And I'm like, well, I'm going to play Mario. She's like, oh, I wanted to play Mario. I'm like, we're going to buy the bundle right now. And I'm taking your Joy-Cons. You're getting your own Switch, but I'm taking the Joy-Cons.
I think I saw that post from Pear.
Oh my God!
God. Yeah.
Pear's post was the stuff of nightmares of
Like
all the
updating
Joy-Cons.
every single one of those Joy-Cons.
Yeah, yeah,
There's so many.
He's a
It's
crazy man.
insane.
He's a crazy person.
See, my problem with this, as a Nintendo fan that just wants to throw money at Nintendo, is you nailed it with the opening ones for me. Kind of Funny Blue, where I
Yeah.
got the 2 blue on blue, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like there will never be a color combination that I enjoy as much as this. So
when they start putting out like the NES and the SNES and all
Yeah,
stuff.
they
Not
can
that
have-
I'm saying you really are. Like, clearly, that's going to happen one day when that happens.
they can get cute and stuff. But
Oh,
at the
they
end
can
of the
get
day-
cute? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna love that, but I'm always gonna go back. Like the color blue is so perfectly. It's like somehow they went in my mind and they're like, they nailed it. Tim Gettys blue.
Right there.
Boom. That's how I see my life. I'm blue. Dubba-dee,
It's
dubba-da.
an official Pantone color, I think now.
It
right?
is. Scion
Getty.
process. It is.
I guess I'm boring. I just like that slate matte to it. Just kind
You
of,
are.
That's
That's
kinda a little
the-
flat
you're
there.
boring.
But again, when I make the switch, it's going to be around a game, and then I'm going to be excited.
Yeah, of course.
So come to me, Taiko.
Stephen Neely says, any plans on improving discoverability of games based on type on the eShop, like RPG, JRPG, platformer, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I wonder if you can. If you go into the see all section or the search section, I think you can kind of narrow it down. But the challenge with the genres is like, how do you define what is an RPG?
Yeah.
There's so many different types of RPGs or different types of strategy games or different types. It's really hard. So in the past, it's always been the developer has to kind of put in the metadata to determine they determine what genre their game is. So it's still not the silver bullet solution to actually find something that might be the type of genre that you're looking for. But we're working on it.
What's we got
All
here?
options are on the table.
Yeah. So what other?
We're popping through here.
Mike says, I'm so grateful Hyper Light Drifter is coming to Switch. Hashtag
Yay.
blessed.
Andy ran in here during that Kind of Funny Games Daily to break that news to us. He was so excited because he loves that game so much. Yeah.
I'm glad that we're doing it for real this time. We've announced it in the past.
But this time we're serious.
We really mean it.
So, Damon, after 12 years of Wii, in only a few days, the Wii Shop channel's your ability to add credits to Wii Shop channel comes to an end, and that's been announced.
Yes.
And then only a few months after that, and it's had a long and glorious life. But I was wondering, just as a personal favor, can you find the switch in the building that turns that off and remove that, please, just so it can be there for us forever? Would you mind doing that?
I'll try and find that switch.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, Damon.
Of course.
I really do.
Coco Pochi says, congrats. Tim didn't go pee.
Hey!
We made it through the whole podcast. Fantastic.
Wow, that's a crazy one for you.
Yeah, I know.
You're finally getting it under control, maybe.
Massive Score says, why were indies announced that day that weren't in the presentation? That's a good question. Like Hyper Light Drifter and Nidhogg.
Oh.
Because there's always, there's more.
Ah,
And plus we need to dangle a little carrot to get all the media there at the presentation as well. So we like to add a few more things and make something that's a bit newsworthy as well. But we had already announced Game Maker support through the Nintendo Direct the week before because we announced Undertale. And then we did. There was a press release with Yo-Yo Games to say that Game Maker is coming. So it made sense, and it also tied into the message we were showing. Travis Strikes Again. It's featured in the game and that collaboration, so we could kind of roll with all of those announcements.
That was a cartwheel moment for me. I meant to bring that up on the main show, but how did the Game Maker deal come together? What made you decide to support that there on the platform?
It's been a work in progress for some time. I mean, we've been in contact with Yo-Yo for a long time. I mean, back in the Wii U days as well. And just in the end, we couldn't get something over the line in terms of that middleware support for the platform. But the teams have been plugging away at that for some time, and I think it's a really cool opportunity. So.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. I mean, it's still very early, and I think it's really open for alpha access to select developers at this point. I think they have to go through an application process with Yo-Yo directly. But yeah, I'm really hoping that we see different types of functionality being implemented in some of these games. I love seeing developers come up with new ways of playing games. So. With whether it's using motion control, if it makes sense, but there's some ideas that have been kind of thrown out there, especially with Game Maker titles that could be really, really cool uses of Nintendo Switch. So I hope some of that comes to fruition.
Neat.
Last question for you. Stephen Ely asks, what determines top seller list on eShop? Is it total sales, momentum, or the last week?
That's a really good question. I think it's unit sales. Over the course of the last week. So yeah. And that's why you're seeing, a range of first and third party content there. But I think it's unit sales.
All right.
Well, awesome. There you go. Thank you very much for joining us for the post show. We'll see you guys tomorrow on twitch.tv/KindofFunnyGames for the Kind of Funny Morning Show at 11 a.m. and then Kind of Funny Games Daily with Daniel Bloodworth. From Easy Allies. Cold-blooded. Yeah, cold-blooded. Let's go. All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching that. Click here to subscribe to Kind of Funny Games. Click there to subscribe to Kind of Funny. Click here to support us on Patreon, and click over here to watch more of Damon in the beautiful Nintendo Switch and Indies presentation for spring 2018.